Good morning, this is Leon Threatt and you're watching the Threatt Report. I'm here this morning on Latrobe Drive and I'm addressing a very critically important issue. We're dealing with the issue of abortion. Latrobe Drive and the activities done here is reported to have more abortions than any place in the entire Southeast. This is one of those subject matters that often is overlooked. We're not hearing nearly enough about it. In fact, if we would match our communications to the horrific events taking place here at this abortion clinic, I believe that the vast majority of the Charlotte community, if not much of those from the entire church community, would be out here on a daily basis praying, interceding, and trying to prevent the Holocaust, the genocide that's taking place here on Latrobe Drive. Now listen, I want to make this very clear that my concern, my fight, my complaint is not against women. This battle of abortion and stopping abortion is not a battle against women. So let's make that very clear, that our concern, my concern, is what abortion does to women and the preborn of our nation. We have got to get involved in this crisis because the events unfolding here at Latrobe Drive and other abortion clinics across our nation is creating genocide in the communities of color. Let me make this real clear. Genocide. Think about what's really happening. We're dealing with 60 million preborn children since Roe versus Wade. 60 million preborn children since Roe versus Wade. Abortion is the leading cause of death of any and every person in America. Of all the people groups, abortion kills more Americans, kill more people than any single activity or event in the nation. In fact, abortion kills more black Americans, more black citizens than the 7 top leading causes of death combined. Now think about that. Abortion kills more black children than the 7 top leading causes of death combined. We have got to address this issue. And I'm here on Latrobe Drive praying, interceding, and speaking to you, the listeners and the viewers of the Threatt Report, about this egregious sin, this egregious Holocaust, genocide taking place here in our great city. Now think about this. Think about this. 60 million Americans, 60 million children. You see, if we were dealing with any other subject, I believe that we would have a massive outcry just by the mere numbers. 60 million. We're dealing with 350 million Americans, but 60 million. For 44 years, this legal genocide has taken place in America. We must address this crisis. You know, it was reported in 2015 that New York City had more abortions than births. Now you think about that. More abortions committed than births in the black community. That in the black community, we were killing more children than were being born. This is a serious crisis and it needs our attention. Now I want to talk specifically about this particular facility behind me on Latrobe Drive. The primary abortionist is Dr. Ron Virmani, V-I-R-M-A-N-I, Virmani. He is the primary abortionist here on Latrobe Drive. Now, what's really sad is that the vast majority of the ones who patronize this facility are people of color, specifically black families, black mothers. Some weeks ago, it came to my attention some words that this Dr. Ron Virmani had spoken. And they were so shameful and so disgusting that I wanted to bring it to your attention. Now this information, this portion of video that he spoke into, he did not know he was on camera, and he spoke about what he really felt about these children of color. And I want you to take a moment and look at this video. You can hear him clearly say some very shameful, very deplorable things spoken about the children that he's aborting.
Their pregnancy and dump it on the taxpayer. You understand? Don't put it on the taxpayer, okay? I don't wish to pay for the baby with my money.
You would rather profit off
Okay, you get it?
You would rather profit off of those children?
No, I'm not profiting. I, as a taxpayer, do not wish to pay for those babies to be born and brought up and kill those people in Colorado. Go ahead and pay for that. Let me see you adopt one of those ugly black babies, okay?
We do.
If you tell us, we'll adopt them.
Yeah, go ahead. Adopt those babies, okay? Take them off the taxpayers' money, okay?
Give us a chance.
Now, you heard him on this video say very clearly, first of all, he talked about not wanting to support these families who are on the taxpayer budget or making a demand on the taxpayer. But then he made this egregious statement. He said to those ones at his door, why don't you adopt one of these ugly black babies? Now you think about this. This doctor makes a very clear statement. Number one, he called them ugly, and he said black, and then he said babies. Now think about that. It exposed his heart toward these children. Number one, he considers them ugly and unacceptable. And then secondly, notice his words. He said babies. Here's a man, here's a doctor that is committing abortions on these women, and he recognizes that they are in fact babies. This issue needs your attention. I want to challenge you. First of all, pray, pray, pray. Pray for the babies and pray for the mothers who are being victimized by this man and by this facility. And then also pray that we will have leaders in our cities, in our nation, in our state levels of government that will put an end to this unimaginable crime against humanity, genocide. You know, the church has got to get involved in this. I thought about, as I heard the words of Dr. Vermani, I thought about what is written here in Psalms, the 10th chapter. And if I may read, I know it may seem long, but there are several verses in here that I really want you to hear. Because this is my heart, because I believe that God will intervene in this matter. And I'm praying that God will do just that. Starting in verse 2 of Psalms, the 10th chapter, it says, in his arrogance, the wicked man hunts down the weak, who are caught in the schemes he devises. He boasts about the craving of his heart. He blesses the greedy and reviles the Lord. In his pride, the wicked man does not seek him. In all of his thoughts, there is no room for God. His ways are always prosperous. Your laws are rejected by him. He sneers at all of his enemies. He says to himself, nothing will ever shake me. He swears, no one will ever do me harm. His mouth is full of lies and threats. Trouble and evil are under his tongue. He lies in wait near the villages. Notice this, he lies in wait near the villages. Just a couple of blocks from this abortion clinic is another abortion clinic on Wendover. Isn't it interesting that these abortion clinics are in communities of color, targeting women of color, targeting the community of color? And I think people of color need to take note that this crime is against people of color. It's directed toward black families and the black community. And I'm out here saying, listen, it's time to wake up. Listen to the verse 8. He lies in wait near the villages. From ambush, he murders the innocent. This is in Psalms, the 10th chapter. His eyes watch in secret for his victims. Like a lion in cover, he lies in wait. He lies in wait to catch the helpless. He catches the helpless and drags them off in a net. His victims are crushed. They are collapse. They collapse and they fall under his strength. He says to himself, God will never notice. He covers his face and never sees. Arise, O Lord. Lift up your hand, O Lord. Do not forget the helpless. Why do the wicked man revile God? Why does he say to himself, he won't call me to account? But you, God, see the trouble of the afflicted. You consider their grief and take it into hand. The victims commit themselves to you. You are the helper of the fatherless. Break the arm of the wicked. Call the evildoer to account for his wickedness that would not otherwise be found. The Lord is king forever and ever. The nations will perish from this land. The Lord, hear the desire of the afflicted. You encourage them and you listen to their cry, defending the fatherless and the oppressed. so that the mere earthly mortals will never again strike terror. Listen to this last portion again. Listen, Lord, hear the desire of the afflicted, and you encourage them, and you listen to their cry, defending the fatherless and the oppressed. That's what my prayer is for this man, Dr. Ron Vermani, and the actions taken here at this Latrobe Clinic, that God will see what's taking place and God will deal with this. I'll see you next week on the Threatt Report. Thank you and God bless.